Magandang hapon po mga kababayan. Kayo'y nakikinig dito lamang sa Radyo Migrante. Ako po si Waynes, kasama niyo sa kwentuhan at sa pagseserbisyo sa bayan.
Ako naman po si Julie, mapagpalayang pagbati po sa inyong lahat, lalong-lalo na sa mga kababayan nating migrante sa bawat sulok ng mundo.
Samahan niyo kami sa ating episode 45 ngayong January 28, 2024 at ating alamin ang mga pangyayari sa Palestine at ang papel nating mga Pilipino sa pagpapatigil sa nagaganap na genocide sa Gaza.
So today, we will talk about this week's top news dito sa Canada at sa Pilipinas. Mapakikinggan din natin ang isang kanta mula kay Bambu and then makikinig tayo sa pulso mula sa mga kababayan natin.
At syempre, hindi pa matatapos ang ating episode kung wala ang Pinoy TaU segment kung saan mapakikinggan natin ang interview with Allos, isa sa mga concerned Filipino-Canadian voter na nakikibaka para sa Palestine. At syempre, mapapakinggan din natin ang latest community listings sa GTA. Kaya tara, simulan na natin para sa ating top news this week. Para sa unang balita, ang pahayag po ng progresibong grupo na Bagong Alyansang Makabayan o Bayan patungkol sa itinutulak na Chacha or Charter Change sa Pilipinas. Ito po ang kanilang pahayag. Quote, sa dinami-dami ng dapat ayusin sa bansa, ang napiling pagkaabalahan at pagkagastusan ng mga nasa kapangyarihan ngayong 2024 ay buhayin muli ang tangkang Charter Change or Chacha. Ang sigaw ng mamamayan ay pirmahan ang mga panukalang batas para sa dagdag sahod, libreng pamamahagi ng lupa, pagkontrol sa presyo ng langis at mga batayang bilihin tulad ng bigas, libreng serbisyong kalusugan at edukasyon, sapat na ayuda, abot kayang pabahay at tunay na kalayaan. Subalit, ibang pirma ang pinapaikot sa mga komunidad.
Ang pirma na ito ay dudulo sa pagbibigay kapangyarihan sa mga mambabatas na baguhin ang 1987 Constitution. Pirma na dinaan sa pagbudol sa tao dahil dinikit sa pagbibigay ayuda. Lahat ng nagdaang rehimen ay sinubukan ng Chacha, lahat ay ninais baguhin ang 1987 Constitution para sa kanilang makasariling interes. Hindi naiiba si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos sa pangunahing makikinabang kung magtagumpay ito. Halos 2 taon na sa pwesto si Marcos Jr., subalit wala pa rin itong hinahaing makabuluhang programa para lutasin ang mga problema sa lipunan maliban sa umasa at maging sunod-sunuran sa dayuhan, ituloy ang pasistang panunupil, buhayin ang mga bigong programa ng kanyang diktador na ama, rebranding ng mabahong pangalang Marcos at ngayon naman ay Chacha para makapanatili sa poder at ibenta ang bansa sa dayuhan.
Mga kababayan, biguin natin ang Chacha ni Marcos dahil ang tanging makikinabang lamang dito ay mga bulok na mga dinastiyang politikal, ang kanilang mga business crony at kasabwat na dambuhalang dayuhang korporasyon at imperialistang bansa. Ito ay pagsuko ng pambansang soberanya, karapatan at dignidad ng mamamayang Pilipino. Tutulan natin ang paglustay ng pera ng bayan. Kumilos tayo na sa halip na Chacha, ang pamahalaan ay dapat magpatupad ng tunay na reforma sa lupa at gawin ang mga kinakailangang hakbang para sa pambansang industrialisasyon. Ayan po, end quote. Yan po ang pahayag ng Bagong Alyansang Makabayan o Bayan patungkol sa itinutulak na Chacha. At para sa pangalawang balita, mula sa website ng Gobyerno ng Pilipinas, Philippines and Canada sign MOU on Defense Cooperation. Noong January 19, pumirma ang representative ng Philippines at ng Canada sa isang Memorandum of Understanding or MOU on Defense Cooperation. Sisimulan nito ang kooperasyon sa pagitan ng defense at military establishments ng dalawang bansa para sa mga aktibidad tulad ng edukasyon, training exercises at iba pa. Itong pagpirma sa MOU ay parte ng layunin ng Canada na i-advance ang Indo-Pacific Strategy sa Pilipinas. End quote. Yan po ang galing sa website ng Gobyerno ng Pilipinas.
Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng pagpirma ng MOU o Memorandum of Understanding? Ito po ang sabi ng ICHRP o International Coalition for Human Rights in the Philippines. Quote, Ang MOU ay magpapadali ng mas malapit na collaboration para sa defense and security initiatives. At ayon sa mga opisyal ng Canada at Pilipinas, ito ay maaaring maisama sa expanded capacity building training para sa mga security forces at iba pang national security agencies, pagtaas ng pakikilahok sa mga pagsasanay militar, policy coordination, pagbebenta ng armas at intelligence sharing. Upang i-manage ang mabilis na lumalawak na defense ties sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa, isang resident defense attaché ang ipupwesto sa Canadian Embassy. Kung talagang nais ng Canada na mapanatili ang integridad ng kanilang foreign policy, dapat nitong i-prioritize ang mga karapatang pantao at moralidad sa partnership niya with Philippines. Dapat nitong igiit na tugunan ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas ang mga kalupitan na ginawa ng mga security forces nito. Kung hindi nila paninindigan ito, nanganganib na masira ang global reputation ng Canada. Hindi lamang kritikal ngunit imperative para sa Canada na masusing suriin ang mga prioridad at kondisyon ng defense cooperation nito sa Pilipinas upang matiyak na ang mga aksyon nito ay aligned with its values.
Ito po ang pangatlo at uling balita mula sa Omni News. Pinahigpit na international student program hindi sapat para pigilan ang mga Pinoy na lumipat sa Canada. Kahit na mas pinahigpit ang mga requirements at pinahirap ang pag-a-apply na maging international student sa Canada, patuloy pa rin ang pagdaloy ng mga aplikante mula sa Pilipinas dahil sa matinding kahirapan ng buhay sa ating bansa. Mula sa isang IRCC document na nakuha ng Globe and Mail, aabot ng 950,000 international students ang mag-a-apply ngayong taon at inaasahang lalagpas ng 1,000,000 by 2025. Ito po ang pahayag ni Javier Hardalesa ng Migrante Ontario, isang international student.
Ang nagtutulak naman talaga sa mga international students o mga prospective international students ay yung kahirapan. Expensive, yet yung time constraint ng paghihintay ay mas maiksi kumpara sa ibang pathway. But again, the bottom line, gusto kong ibalik siya doon sa Pilipinas. Hanggat wala talaga na hanap buhay na ganito yung kalagayan natin at patuloy na naghihirap ang sambayan ng Pilipino, gagawa ng paraan.
Patuloy po kayo nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante dito sa Toronto's Best Filipino Community Program, Vibe 105. Natunghayan po ninyo ang mga balita at ngayon naman magbalik tanaw tayo sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas.
Hello po ulit. Ako si Julie bringing you today's segment of ang ating kasaysayan. Tara, let's learn more about our history and remind ourselves that history is not just information about the past, because history is a way for us to learn more about our culture and to get to know more about ourselves as Filipinos. Ngayong linggo po, aming babasahin ang personal article ni Yasmin Abdel Khaleq. Originally, shinare niya ito sa Facebook at pinublish later on ng mga media outlet gaya ng Bulatlat, The Philippine Reporter at Inquirer.
Hi, my name is Yasmin. I am a student pharmacist in the Philippines. During my 4 years of living here, I have received comments from fellow Filipinos curious of where I come from, seeing my big nose and almond-shaped eyes. They would proceed to assume from Israel, and I would say, Palestinian po ako, and they would say, Hamas. However, it reached to the point where I do not want to prolong conversations. So for strangers, I would just say, Pinoy lang po ako. Opo, Pinoy lang po talaga ako. To end it there. I regret denying my roots. I regret failing to tell Filipinos who I am. I am unapologetically Filipino-Palestinian, and no one can take that away from me. I am dedicating this post to you Filipinos who comment here on Facebook nonstop saying, bakit kayo nangingialam sa problema ng ibang bansa? Sabay sasabihin ninyo, pray for Israel. Make it make sense, ha? I know that everyone sees what is going on right now. They call it the Israel-Hamas conflict or quote-unquote war. No matter what history timeline you believe in, You cannot deny the fact that the State of Israel was only established 75 years ago. If you read up on the diaries of the founders of Zionism, you will find out that the land where Israeli Zionists are settling in right now was already inhabited by the Palestinian people. No, it was not a desert. Zionism is a movement, a settler colonial project which aims to establish a Jewish nation state in Palestine, now called the State of Israel. After World War I, in 1922, Palestine was under the British mandate. It was even considered a quote-unquote Class A mandate because of the advanced infrastructures Palestine had. The Balfour Declaration was then established. It promised a quote national home for the Jewish people unquote in Palestine. This helped the Zionist movement to further achieve its aims. Also, stop calling people anti-Semitic for standing with Palestine. Mind you, there is nothing wrong with Jewish self-determination. What is completely wrong is the ethnic cleansing and dispossession of the Palestinian people for the past 75 plus years, just so these Zionists who came from all over the world can establish a homeland. We do not hate Jews, we hate Zionism. There is a huge difference. If you see the protests going on in the world right now, you will notice that Jewish people condemn the State of Israel and are ashamed of the Zionist Israeli settlers for using their name as Jews, for using the Torah, for using the name of God as an excuse to kill and displace Palestinians. A homeland is not built this way. Now, if you are still taking a neutral stance and staying blinded when everything is in front of you, let me ask you, do you condone the killing of civilians, medical personnel, journalists, bombings of hospitals, and the bombings of ambulances? Because Israel has been doing that to Palestinians. They disregard the protective emblem that Palestinian health workers and journalists wear, and that is against international law. At this point of reading my post, you may wonder, why are this information not being reported in news outlets? Here's why. Mainstream media coverage favors Israel, where 5 major US newspapers show negativity only for Palestinian stories. Mainstream media says out loud that both sides should be grieved, but the reality is that only the Palestinians are buried in mass graves. Other than that, the massive support of the US government to Israel is definitely enabling the genocide in Gaza. Israel's civilians are armed. Their forces has an army, a navy, an air force, and nuclear weapons. What do Palestinians have? This is why it is not a conflict. It is a situation of the oppressor and the oppressed. Hindi patas ang armas dito. Hindi to gera. Literal na gusto nilang patayin at tanggalin ang lahat ng Palestino sa mundo. Do not tell me Israel has the right to defend itself. Palestinians have the right to resist by any means necessary. This is outlined in the UN Resolution 3236. Stand with the Palestinian people. Stand with the oppressed. You are a Filipino and so am I. We share the same sentiments as Palestinians. Every Filipino should unconditionally support Palestinians and all oppressed peoples as our struggles are interconnected. Our countrymen have fought off our oppressors before. How could you now side with oppressors? If anything, we understand what occupation means. This is the end of my post. Please do your own research, your own readings. Make sure that the sites you are viewing aren't biased to the Israeli narrative. Continue sharing what Israel is trying to shut off from the world as they cut off electricity and water supply in Gaza, as they commit international crimes. This is the least you can do as a human. Filipino ako, Palestino rin ako. In our lifetime, Palestine will be free. Solidarity always. Kung gusto niyong basahin ng buong article, mahanap niyo ito sa webpage ng Bulatlat.
At ayan po ang personal article ni Yasmin Abdel, Khaleq, na pinublish sa Bulatlat noong October 20, 2023. That was 100 days ago, so outdated na yung mga statistic. As of today, hindi bababa sa 27,000 ang mga pinaslang na Palestinian. And then, as of December 2023, hindi bababa sa 29,000 bombs ang ibinagsak sa residential areas ng Gaza Strip. Patuloy ang mga kilos protesta sa Pilipinas at sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo para sa mga panawagan na itigil ang genocide sa Gaza at palayain ang mga Palestino. At ayan po ang ating kasaysayan. Thank you, Waynes, for reading Yasmin's personal article.
Patuloy po ay nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante dito sa Toronto's Best Filipino Community Program, Vibe 105. Maraming salamat, Tita Julie. At para sa susunod na segment, lumubog tayo sa ating kulturang Pilipino. Para sa linggong ito, mapakikinggan natin ang kantang When Will the Time Come na isinulat ni Danilo Alcatraz Jonah de Ocampo Jr., di ba ang haba ng pangalan? Or better known by his stage name, Bambu. Si Bambu ay isang Filipino-American community activist at rapper mula sa Los Angeles, California. Siya ay nabansagan na, quote, one of the most well-respected indie musicians in the US, end quote. Si Bambu ay anak ng isang migranteng Pilipina at lumaki siya sa isang working class neighborhood sa Los Angeles. Ang mga kanta ni Bambu ay may tema ng police brutality, racial prejudice, and economic inequality. Si Bambu din ay naging Secretary General ng Kabataang Makabayan USA o KM. So for this week, pakinggan natin ang kanyang kanta na When Will the Time Come na kanyang sinulat para sa Gaza. Na nirelease niya ito noong 2009. Please enjoy.
One thing that we felt that music could do would reach people in a way that a speech wouldn't reach them.
How the fuck you drop bombs on the whole entire country and justify it in the news saying you trying to find one thing by killing everything within the 80-mile radius? Kids, babies, women, civilians. That's like me having to beef with one dude and I drive through all of LA, letting loose and whose bombs get used. I bet you didn't know that out of America's defense budget, Israel gets the most. Nowadays you just throw terrorism on it and get yourself a pass to put dead babies on it. That's a land not yours. America, get off the foreign shores, they ain't yours. Young people need to study, read between the lines, find out why America keep funding taking
Muli,
lives.
ako si Waynes. Lagi niyong maaasahan na maghahandog ng makabuluhang musika, tula at marami pang iba na nagdidiwang ng kulturang Pilipino. Dito lang sa Radyo Migrante, 105.5 FM.
Ano po, sa ating pulsa segment, pakinggan natin ang mga saloobin ng ating mga kababayan tungkol sa Palestine.
Hi there, listeners of Radio Migrante. My name is Joe, and I'm a member of Anak Bayan, Toronto. I wanted to share my thoughts about the 112 days of bloodshed in Palestine. My heart aches for my brothers and sisters in Gaza, in the West Bank, in all of occupied Palestine, and those living in diaspora. I want to take this time to grieve for the thousands of lives taken from us, pray for the safety for the families still there, and remind others to stay strong in their solidarity and allyship with Palestinians. There are no words to describe the horrific violence and crimes committed against the Palestinians in Gaza. As a Palestinian Filipina living on stolen indigenous land, I understand the kind of helplessness that many people are feeling. We are simultaneously benefiting from colonialism and capitalist systems while being exploited by them. But we cannot allow this to hinder us. Look at the resiliency of Palestinians. For generations since the Nakba in 1948, we have persisted. Every Palestinian exists as evidence of the sheer perseverance and bravery shown by all who came before us. Despite it all, we understand that we must live to tell our stories, to teach others that they too can stand against their oppressors. I want to leave here with a quote written by Palestinian poet and martyr Rafat Alayir. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. Thank you.
At yan po ang ating pulsa segment sa linggong ito. Maraming salamat sa mga nagbahagi ng kanilang opinyon at karanasan.
Patuloy po ang nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante dito sa Toronto's Best Filipino Community Program, Vibe 105. Huwag kayong aalis mga kababayan. Makakasama natin si Allos, isa sa mga concerned Filipino-Canadians na umattend ng vigil sa harap ni MP Rechie Valdez noong December 16, 2023 at nakapanayam niya si MP Rechie Valdez. Mapapakinggan po natin yan after the break. Ayan, ako po ang inyong host, si Waynes, para sa ating Pinoy TaU segment o Pinoy Talakayan at Usapan. Dito natin mapakikinggan ang talambuhay ng ating mga kababayan na migrant workers, international students at iba pa. Halina't pakinggan natin ang fresh na perspectives ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Kasama natin this week si Allos, isa sa mga concerned Filipino-Canadians na umattend ng vigil, Songs for Gaza, na ginanap sa may harap ng office ni MP Rechie Valdez noong December 16, 2023. So recently, nakapanayam niya si MP Rechie Valdez para pag-usapan ang mga panawagan nitong grupo of concerned Filipino-Canadians para sa Gaza. Welcome sa Radyo Migrante, Allos. Napakasaya namin na makakausap ka namin today. Kung pwedeng pakibati lang ang listeners at ikaw na rin, pakilala mo ang iyong sarili.
Hello, kamusta? Ako si Allos. Maraming salamat sa Radyo Migrante sa pag-imbita sa akin today. At I think it's not my first time. I think naging guest na rin ako a few years ago. So, very excited.
Welcome back pala, no?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Salamat. So, ang episode namin this week is actually dedicated sa Palestine. So, yung mga una naming segment will share yung a little bit about the history, pati na rin mga kanta na gawa ng Bambu, yung isang Bambu, yung BAMBU. Kanta nila para sa Palestine, ganyan. So, very timely and very happy kami na you're free to speak with us kasi nabalitaan nga namin na nung December 16, may nag-organisa ang Concerned Filipino-Canadian Community ng isang vigil sa harap ng office na Filipino Liberal MP Rechie Valdez. So, umattend ka doon, no, Allos? So, kung pwede mo lang ikwento para sa aming mga tagapakinig, yung siguro yung mga hindi nakadalo, ano bang nangyari nung gabing iyon? At ano yung mensahe nung komunidad para kay MP Rechie Valdez at that time?
Sure. So, part ako ng, isang group. We're not really an organized group, I think it's just different committee members who came together na talagang concerned sila sa nangyayari sa Gaza ngayon, yung genocide sa Gaza. At gusto nilang, pakiusapan talaga si Rechie Valdez na, mag-side with the liberal MPs within her party that are calling for ceasefire and really standing for Palestine and, having a strong voice to end the genocide there. I think, maraming mga Filipino na concerned na wala sila naririnig na, malakas na posisyon galing kay Rechie Valdez. And so, ninaisip, tsaka marami din tayong mga artists sa community, na mga musikero at mga songwriters. So, nagsulat sila ng mga kanta in the tradition of, rewriting Christmas songs. Kasi meron din mga ceasefire carols na nangyayari all over North America. So it's in that tradition. So pinalitan ng lyrics ng mga kanta katulad ng Silent Night or meron pa isa narinig ko sa utak ko, baka may sample natin.
Yes. Actually, we played Silent Night for Gaza nung December din dahil nakita namin na isa yun sa mga isinulat, no? Sa inyo galing yun, no?
Yes. Oo, napapakinggan nga namin yun yung episode yun ng Radyo Migrante kasi proud na proud ang mga ating musikero sa pag-play. Parang nag-drop siya sa radio. So, very excited. So, very, very grateful for that. So, nagkaroon ng vigil sa harap ni Rechie. Nagpadala ng imbitasyon para sa kanya at isang open letter para klaro kung bakit may pagpupulong ng mga kababayan sa labas ng kanyang office, So marami nagpunta, siguro mga 30 people, yung iba-ibang mga galing sa iba-ibang parte ng Toronto. Yung iba rin ay residents ng Streetsville, Mississauga, which is the riding that she represents. There are people who are artists, who are first generation, second generation, government, workers, people who, work in universities, migrant workers. So very well attended and all united in the demands for Rechie to, keep calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, to end the blockade and restore aid to Gaza, to lift the siege on Gaza, to facilitate the family reunification program for, Palestinians who have family members here in Canada and want to reunite with them. And, to end Canada's complicity and to impose an arms embargo immediately on Israel. So yun yung mga top demands na pinadala kay Rechie Valdez nung umaga ng vigil.
Mm. So, napakahalaga, no, inisyatibo mula sa ating komunidad. So, nung vigil, hindi nyo nakita si Rechie Valdez? Nandun siya sa office or hindi siya nag-show?
No, hindi siya nakapunta.
Okay. Baka hindi siya nakapag-RSVP.
Hindi siya nakapag-RSVP.
So, in response sa inyong vigil, pati na rin sa inyong open letter, balita kong kinontak nila ang community to ask to speak with them, no? Ano ang nangyari dun sa meeting na iyon at kailan siya nangyari?
Nagkatawaga kami nung Friday lang na to. Yeah, and I think, it was supposed to be short, but I'm glad that, it was supposed to be just for 20 minutes, but I feel like, she felt that we were having a productive conversation, so it actually was around 40 minutes long. I did get feedback from yung mga organizers nung vigil first, saka yung mga ibang nagpunta rin, to really emphasize yung concerns ng Filipino community about nangyayari sa Gaza, kung bakit pinipressure natin si MP Rechie Valdez, right? Bakit natin siya kinakausap, bakit tayo nagka-vigil, bakit importante para sa atin na i-represent niya yung interest ng mga Filipino-Canadian dito sa Canada, at saka to emphasize din na napakaganda ng posisyon niya, 'di ba? Na minister na siya ngayon, minister siya ng small businesses, hindi lang siya backbencher sa Liberal Party, I think a lot of people acknowledge her position as someone who is influential, para siyang parang rising star, rookie of the year, parang yan ang tingin kay Rechie Valdez, right? So, I also acknowledge that, and maybe it's hard for her to see, I did acknowledge that she must have gone through a lot of barriers to be able to get there. She has broken a glass ceiling for Filipino women to be, having a position in parliament, and a lot of people really admire her and are grateful for also all her support for the Filipino community. But at the same time, we need her to be bold and take a strong stance, and that, we wanted to really tell her that we will be behind her when she makes this bold move, because this is the position that most Filipino Canadians are united on, and that we are ready to support her when she makes this bold move.
And in this meeting, did she express kung ano ba yung kanyang understanding on what is going on? Or did she share kung bakit hindi pa siya nagbibigay ng ganong klaseng pahayag, like what you were asking for? What is holding her back, or what are the barriers that she's facing on that?
Right. I mean, I think the good thing about this is, nung in-announce natin sa social media na magkakaroon tayo ng vigil, not long after, she actually tweeted that her position is for ceasefire, right? After being silent for a long time. So she joined the ranks of her other Liberal Party caucus members to call for ceasefire. And that afternoon, Justin Trudeau finally called for ceasefire. So I don't know if those are two connected, but I'd like to think that, again, MP Rechie has a strong position and voice within the Liberal Party. So with that, we commend, MP Rechie for calling for ceasefire. But at the same time, I think there is particular moves that she's still not making that will make a send a strong message. So for example, I did point out to her that her posting that MP Marco Mendicino is the new chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Group kind of set it back a bit about her position on Palestine. I don't know if you know.
Can you just elaborate a little bit more on bakit siya issue?
issue siya kasi, number one, si MP Marco Mendicino, talagang pinapakita niya kung saan siya nakaposisyon dito sa issue na to. Kasi kakagaling lang niya sa Israel, all expense paid trip, right? At retweet lang daw niya ng isang post from the JDL, which is a known terrorist organization. Actually, it's a designated terrorist organization in Canada. He has not since apologized for this retweeting nor deleted this retweet. So, Marco Mendicino does have a fraught relationship with Muslim communities and Palestinian communities because of his unapologetic position to stand with Netanyahu and obviously not supporting the ICJ case or so nung nag-post si Richie na siya ang bagong chair, syempre yung mga tao parang, ba't ganyan? Nag-post ka ng ceasefire call tapos nang pinost mo sa Facebook ay sa Instagram, siya yung bagong chair. So tinanong ko talaga sa kanya, bakit siya yung chair? Right? Kasi parang ang sinasabi mo sa amin, you don't really mean your call for ceasefire.
Anong reply niya dyan?
Well, in-explain niya yung process kasi tinanong ko siya directly ano ba ang process kung paano pinipili yung chair ng Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Group, right? And she did say that it was a good question because I think maybe she doesn't get, a lot of questions about this parliamentary group. It's, I myself didn't know about it until they
Same.
posted it, right? So she did say that, she was previously the chair, right? She had to step down because she has a lot on her plate. And I said understandably because she is the minister, right? And we did also, had a good conversation about the fact that it doesn't have to be necessarily the person from that ancestry to represent to be the chair of the parliamentary group of that country. So she said that it was through a nomination process. The parliamentary group is a multi-party group, and that Marco Mendicino's selection to be the chair was voted on unanimously. There was consensus. And I asked until when is his term, and apparently it's until he steps down. And so, I posted more as just wanted to learn more. I wasn't demanding for him to be changed or whatever. I did say, can you please think about what to do with that, right? Because this is an issue. Please do something about this.
It's good to point out to her itong contradictions with her statements and actions.
Exactly. Dapat consistent, diba? Siyempre,
tama.
nalilito yung mga tao.
So ano ang next steps na nakikita ninyong either napag-usapan nyo or from the Filipino-Canadian community?
I think right now, because there are 2 Liberal MPs and 3 NDP MPs who actually just visited West Bank and Jordan. They just returned actually, this weekend. We expect that they're going to be, of course, doing a report back on their trip and what they've learned. And we've made it clear to MP Rechie Valdez that she should meet with her 2 caucus members, or both in the Liberal Party, to really hear about their trip. At least she can show the community, Canadians, that she is open to learning and understanding about the situation. We also got some feedback from other community members that to give Richie a chance because she might not be as familiar with foreign policy or the international, issues that are affecting different racialized communities in Canada. Siguro mas well-versed lang siya sa Filipino issues, but not so much. So, it's giving her an opportunity to learn more. So we're really hoping na makapag-meeting siya doon sa dalawang Liberal MP na kakagaling sa West Bank. At ipakita niya sa public, hindi yung secret. Right? Kasi ano namang magagawa nun? Siyempre, kailangan niya ipakita sa iba.
Yeah, that's really great. Ipinapakita na, you're challenging MP Rechie Valdez to step out of the comfort zone and to do something, no? Even if it's small steps, you're just gonna keep pushing and pressuring her to take action. What about for the Concerned Filipino-Canadian group? Are there any actions we're seeing in the future, or any meeting or any event?
So right now, we're aligning with the calls from the Palestinian youth movement to really research and investigate how Canada has been complicit in Israelis' war crimes. So we're focusing on doing more research and developing para mga educational materials about it. Kasi I think ang nangyayari ngayon, medyo parang nakakalimutan na siya ng mga tao, right? Tsaka wala pang masyadong talagang clear awareness kung ano ba talaga yung pwedeng gawin ng Canada para matigil na tong genocide na ito na nangyayari sa Gaza. So actually merong petition na tumutulong kami na i-distribute. It's called the Arms Embargo Now petition. Actually petition siya sa House of Commons, so makikita mo siya sa website ng House of Commons Canada. It is being endorsed by the NDP critic for foreign affairs, MP Heather McPherson. Isa rin siya sa kakagaling lang sa West Bank. So yun, petition, mag-research, kasi syempre hindi tayo Palestino, pero sa pakikipag-alyansa natin sa Palestinian community, we look to the Palestinian youth movement for their direction and leadership. So yun ang focus. Ngayon may plano na pumunta sa mga Filipino community centers, sa mga churches, para makausap tungkol sa sitwasyon sa Gaza at mangolekta ng signature.
Oo nga, magandang mga plano yan. At saka, I guess dito sa radyo, baka ma-invite ako ulit kayo o iba pang mga concerned Filipino-Canadians para mapag-usapan at ma-explain natin kung ano man yung mga malalakap sa research, dahil accessibility sa lengguwahe natin is another contribution that we can do para sa ating komunidad. Allos, bakit ba tayo dapat makialam, tayong mga Pilipino, sa nangyayaring genocide, sa malupit na karahasan ng Israel sa Palestine?
I mean, isa sa sagot dyan ay maraming Pilipino sa Gaza, right? Maraming Pilipino sa Palestinian territories kasi maraming mga OFW na nagtatrabaho sa Israel na eventually na nagsettle sa Palestine kasi mas mura doon ang kabahayan, right? At makikita mo ang mga Pilipino mas nag-identify sila sa mga Palestino. So, iba sa kanila nag-asawa na ng mga Palestino, may mga anak sila. So, marami actually mga Filipino-Palestinian families that live in Gaza and West Bank. And a lot of them became refugees because of the war. And, I'm sure when we will finally get full account of who have passed away, I'm sure we'll see Filipino Palestinian people who have died in the constant bombardment of Gaza by Israel. Matagal na rin magkaalyansa talaga ang Pilipino tsaka ang mga Palestine, since nung unang Nakba at Intifada, talagang malakas na ang alyansa ng mga Pilipino tsaka Palestine. Kasi syempre, kahit nga si Richie sinabi niya nasa phone call namin, that we as Filipinos, we see ourselves in the struggle of the Palestinian people because we have a shared history of colonization. And even Richie said that to be able to attain independence, we have to do everything we can to be able to free ourselves from the shackles of colonialism and imperialism. So, syempre, mahirap, nakakakonsensya talaga na makita ito nangyayari at marami tayong magagawa para maitigil na itong karahasan na to.
Magkakonekta talaga, napakalalim sa history natin yung ganitong similar na pakikibaka. So, nandito na tayo sa end ng ating conversation, although parang ang dami pa nating pagkakwentuhan. Ano ba ang mensahe mo para sa ating mga tagapakinig? So, let's say yung mga gustong matuto pa ng marami patungkol sa nangyayari sa Palestine, mahabang history. Ba kung meron ka lang gabay or any advice or notes para sa kanila, and kung may mensahe ka para dun sa mga gustong kumilos pero hindi nila alam kung anong maitutulong nila.
Sure, okay. So, pansin ko ang pinakamadali na gawin ngayon para sa mga tao is to sign the petition. Okay? So, if you look at the, even if you type rcommons.ca tapos petitions, mahanap mo doon yung Arms Embargo Now petition. So, please sign it. I think, actually, di alam ng mga tao, pero yung last petition lang na to nung November, yung ceasefire now petition, that was the petition in Canadian history that got the most signatures, right? Got more than 200,000 signatures. And, the Palestinian community are really asking for us to, get a lot of, even more people to sign this Arms Embargo Now petition. again, like something you can do from home, from the comfort of your just scrolling on your phone. Send the petition to 10 people that direct asks. I mean, syempre okay din kung i-repost mo sa Instagram or sa Facebook, pero iba pa rin yung dating kapag talaga nag-message ka, tita, please paki-sign naman tong petition. Napakabilis lang, 2 minutes. Wala pang 2 minutes. So send that petition to 10 people, and it will even prompt conversation. Kahit na meron kang tita or tito na medyo parang Christian Zionist or confused. Confused, sabihin mo lagi, si Pope Francis po nag-call na po for petition.
Oh, Pope Francis called for ceasefire na. Oh, yun naman pala, nagsabi na pala si Pope Francis.
Lagi nag-work sa akin yon kapag sa Pilipino. Siya sabi lang, oo nga, no, sige. So, so it may also prompt conversation and an opportunity to educate our community members. For other actions, follow PYM Toronto sa Instagram. I'm also part of this group called Queers for Palestine. So Queers #4 Palestine. So also follow that account. And yeah, I think go to rallies, continue to educate ourselves about, the Palestinian struggle. Mga news sources na hindi masyadong bias katulad ng Al Jazeera are good resources to follow kung ano nangyari sa Gaza. Yeah.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Allos. You know what, we'll link this arms embargo now petition sa aming Instagram para madaling ma-access ng ating mga kababayan. Yan po, ang goal natin is more than 200,000, So send it to 10 people or more. Send it to your whole friend group, sa mga group chat na kasama ka sa WhatsApp. I really appreciate your time, Allos. Maraming salamat for educating all of us sa nangyayari sa Palestine and what we can do. So hopefully we'll be able to talk again next time.
Yay, maraming salamat. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsusubaybay sa ating Pinoy Talakayan at Usapan o Pinoy TaU. Nakikinig kayo dito lamang sa Radyo Migrante ng Vibe 105.5 FM.
At syempre, to stay updated sa happenings sa ating community, narito ang mga event at announcement. Imbitado po ang mga kababayan natin mula edad 13 hanggang 35 sa St. Jamestown Community Center. Mayroon silang Filipino Youth Drop-In at welcome kayo dito. Meron pong iba't ibang workshops, board games, kwentuhan, at opportunity to connect with Filipino culture and history. At maaari ding makakuha ng volunteer hours. Ito ay mula alas 3 hanggang alas 5 tuwing ikatlong Thursday ng buwan. Ang susunod na session ay sa February 15. Sa February 23 hanggang 25 naman, sumama sa ika-6 na Pinoy Parliament Conference 2024 na may temang laro. Maaaring sumali ang mga may edad na 16 hanggang 30 years old upang makilahok sa mga discussion workshop at seminar tungkol sa Filipino arts, culture, education, and politics. Ito ay gaganapin sa Ottawa. Follow Pinoy Parliament on Instagram for more information.
Interesado ba kayo na maging bahagi ng Radyo Migrante? Halina't sumali sa Radyo Migrante Collective. There are open positions for new researchers, scriptwriters, co-hosts, editors, and social media coordinators. And to learn more from our past and future episodes, just check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Isulat nyo lang ang Radyo Migrante Toronto sa search bar. At dito nagtatapos ang isa na namang makabuluhang episode ng Radyo Migrante. Ipagpapatuloy natin ito next week kung saan pag-uusapan natin kung ano ba ang colonial mentality at paano na nito naaapektuhan ang ating komunidad dito sa Canada at sa ibang bansa, pati na rin sa Pilipinas.
Sana po ay marami kayong natutunan sa isang oras na pinagsaluhan natin. Please be kind to yourself and enjoy the rest of your day. Padayon mga karadmig para sa progresibong politika at pagbabago.
Sa tulong ng mga kababayan natin na bumubuo ng Radyo Migrante, kay Allos at sa buong komunidad ng Concerned Filipino-Canadians for Palestine, kay Carl Ramirez para sa kanyang kantang Migranteng Pilipino, at higit sa lahat sa inyo pong mga nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante tuwing linggo mula 1:00 hanggang 2:00 ng hapon. Maraming salamat po.
Hanggang sa susunod mga kababayan, muli, mabuhay po kayo at mabuhay ang bayang Pilipinas!
Walang hindi maga